They play the game with a level of exuberance and excellence unmatched in the annals of college football. Their success has galvanized a city and captivated a nation. They are the Miami Hurricanes, 1987 national champions. This is their story. A perfect season was but a distant dream on the first Saturday of September. Traditional pomp and pageantry masked question marks in the minds of Hurricane partisans accustomed to success. A host of departed superstars left gaping holes in Coach Jimmy Johnson's depth chart. An undefeated 1986 campaign was overshadowed by a Fiesta Bowl defeat, and the unspoken memories still lingered. Indeed, the challenge was reflected in their team motto, "Press on."
Well, I know a lot of people didn't anticipate us having this good a football team when you consider the fact that we had 7 guys drafted into the NFL, and 5 of those players started their rookie year. We felt like we could have a good football team, though. We felt like if we could have some young guys come to the front and really play a key role and play to the best of their ability, then we could be successful.
Miami and Florida. Orange on orange, a traditional battle of giants that can make or break a season. This will be their last meeting until 1992. The Hurricane defense will leave indelible memories. Myra, Stubbs, Jones, Shannon, and Brown. Soon they will read like a litany of doom to ball carriers from Gainesville to Greenville, from Tallahassee to Toledo. There's a new man under center. His name is Steve Walsh, and his debut will be singularly impressive. Cool under pressure, the rifle-armed sophomore makes good use of veteran stars Melvin Bratton and Michael Irvin. The Hurricane offense has lost none of its glitter. The Canes' aerial success is duplicated on the ground. Cleveland Gary, Warren Williams shared 20 carries between them, and their efforts add a potent element to a balanced attack. With his team maintaining a comfortable margin, Jimmy Johnson knows that Florida must attack the strength of the Miami defense. A veteran secondary, led by 2-time All-American Benny Blades. Interceptions by Blades and Randy Shannon seal an impressive 31-4 triumph. For the ebullient Hurricanes, it is their 22nd consecutive regular season victory, a most auspicious beginning to a memorable campaign. Game number 2 finds the Hurricanes at Arkansas for a key test against the 10th-rated Razorbacks. If the season opener was impressive, then today's performance is completely off the charts. From the opening moments, Miami is merely awesome.
Irvin in a wing right. Backs are split. Walsh again has to bark out the signals at the line. Overcome the noise. Walsh, Williams, sweep. Warren dives. Touchdown, Miami.
As the battle progresses, the noise UM must contend with diminishes to a whisper. By halftime, the Canes have built an unbelievable 38-0 lead.
On the pitch goes to Conley behind a Gary block to the 10, to the 5. He scores untouched. Leonard Conley. Nobody got a hand on it. Walsh will throw like a free down. Steve throwing. Irvin is the receiver in the end zone for the touchdown. All right, Johnson and Kroll, the running backs, when they are split behind Erickson, who's back, looks, throws, end zone. Andre Brown.
Final score, 51-7, but there is little time for celebration, for a familiar foe awaits. This is Seminole country, Tallahassee, home of powerful Florida State. In retrospect, this clash will become known as college football's game of the year. The third-ranked Hurricanes will face a stiff challenge from the fourth-ranked Seminoles. Despite their frustrated efforts, Jimmy Johnson's men trailed by as much as 16 points.
We really felt like we could come back on Florida State. We had done it the previous two outings. We had been behind against Florida State in the fourth quarter the two previous years. And so at halftime, I said, all we've got to do is just settle down and not turn the ball over. Be patient on offense, because we're going to be able to hit some of the passes. And then the other thing is we've got to play with more intensity on defense.
Intensity on defense, a Hurricane specialty. The impact is immediate and decisive. The dramatic shift in fortunes is underscored by a suddenly rejuvenated offense. A 49-yard pass play from Walsh to Bratton cuts the Seminole lead in half. FSU's ensuing drive is short-circuited by Daniel Stubbs' alert interception. In the mind of Michael Irvin, one big play deserves another. Supreme confidence, supreme ability. 26 yards later, an 8-point deficit is now 2. For the second time in the contest, UM achieves a 2-point conversion. Tied at 19 all, Florida State's desperate bid to regain the advantage is cut short by a Benny Blades fumble recovery, setting the stage for the biggest play of Michael Irvin's career.
Steve called the play. He called the 10-yard out. I came out, and when I lined up, I looked up, and there was a man-to-man coverage. I looked over to Steve. I patted my hip, which means he's a man coverage.
And so I looked at him, and he looked at me, and we made an adjustment, and he got around the defensive back, and he was going up the sidelines, and I didn't think it was going to get there. I thought it was going to bounce off the guy's shoulder pad, but it went over his shoulder pad, and Mike caught it and took it the distance.
Michael Irvin's second touchdown reception results in a 7-point lead, but the finest football team in FSU history refuses to fold. With just 1 minute remaining, the Seminoles score. Leading 26-25, Miami must stop a 2-point conversion attempt. A season hangs in the balance.
I was on the bench at that time when they scored the touchdown, and then when I didn't see Donnie get up, I knew I had to go in there and do my job, and there was no time to be nervous. And I went in there and I did it.
When the ball was in the air, I just kind of glanced over and I saw Bubba tip it, and that was the best thing I think that could ever happen to our team as a whole, because that day we knew that no matter whatever happened to us, that if we pull together in the fourth quarter, we can beat anybody.
Pride, defiance, unity. Watchwords of a defense that plays the game with passion and purpose. The Miami way. In 1987, All-American Daniel Stubbs was the heart and soul of a line that played havoc with opposing game plans. The school's career sack leader was a big reason why Hurricane opponents scored barely 100 points over the course of a 12-game season. Following their last-minute heroics against Florida State, defenders would continue to shine in successive victories over Maryland, Cincinnati, East Carolina, Miami of Ohio, Virginia Tech, and Toledo. The combined scores of those 6 games, 240-59. Daniel Stubbs graduates, but sophomore tackle Greg Mark returns to the trenches next season. Incredibly quick, he was a mainstay of a line that also featured Bill Hawkins, Jimmy Jones, and Derwin Jones. Linebacking is a traditional Hurricane strength, and George Myra Jr. is a perfect example. Number 45 leaves Miami as the school's all-time leading tackler, winning third-team All-America honors in his senior season. While Myra patrolled the middle, linebacker Rod Carter was a force outside. The team's second leading tackler as a junior, Carter returns to action as an All-American candidate in 1988. Solid up front, strong in the middle, Miami was impervious to the run. The airwaves were exclusive property of Benny and the Jets, college football's finest secondary. In the estimation of many, consensus All-American Benny Blades is the ideal free safety. Jimmy Johnson is not inclined to disagree.
Well, Benny Blades is a great football player. Benny's the best defensive back that I've ever been associated with in 23 years of college coaching. He plays with a lot of intensity. He is a big, strong, physical defensive back. He tackles like a linebacker, and he has the great speed. He runs a 4.3, 5.40, so he can outrun most any receiver.
In addition to Benny Blades, the Hurricane defensive backfield boasted first-class talent. Number 18, Tolbert Bain, started 46 games in his career, a school record. Selwyn Brown, Donald Ellis, and Darrell Fullington all played major roles. An extra bonus was special teams standout Bubba McDowell, cornerback of note and punt blocker extraordinaire. From the front line to the secondary, the Hurricane defense had what it takes: talent, heart, and confidence.
I just think it's an attitude where we know that we can win. We've played in, I think, more big games than any other team, and we play everybody being an independent, and I think that has a lot to do with it. We're used to the big game.
The ability to win big games. 9 victories into 1987. That theory will be tested yet again. Jimmy Johnson and Lou Holtz. Miami and Notre Dame. National television, sellout crowd. For the Hurricane defense, win number 10 rides on a very basic premise. We can't lose if they don't score. Notre Dame's highly touted running game disappears under an avalanche of orange jerseys. Efforts to go airborne are quickly thwarted by the ever-present Mr. Stubbs. Late in the opening quarter, Miami launches a drive that will result in the game's first score. Melvin Bratton dances his way to first down yardage, setting the stage for contributions by backfield mates Warren Williams and Leonard Conley. Three minutes into the second stanza, Melvin Bratton does the honors. As twilight gives way to nightfall, so must Notre Dame defer to a clearly superior Miami aggregation.
Rice on the take. Hawkins after him. Hawkins sacks him back at the 43. Second sack for Bill Hawkins. They will call it just outside the 41.
A 10-0 halftime lead becomes 17-0 after 3 quarters. Miami fans are now thinking, shut out. The Fighting Irish have not been blank since 1983. The last team to do it, the Miami Hurricanes. When Leonard Conley bullies his way into the end zone, it proves to be the coup de grace in a convincing 24-0 conquest. Give credit to an inspired defense and a superb offense. The number on his jersey is the most appropriate mantle for young Steve Walsh. In 1987, he firmly established himself as Miami's fourth consecutive blue-chip quarterback, following in the footsteps of Jim Kelly, Bernie Kosar, and Vinny Testaverde. Talented, composed, and intelligent, he employed his receivers with a sense of maturity that belied his youthful status.
Well, coming into this year, I knew that I'd have to utilize the people around me, and that's what I feel I've done this season. And I have such great athletes around me. Just throw them the ball anywhere on the field, and they're going to take it the distance for a touchdown.
Perhaps the brightest star among a galaxy of standouts was the magical Michael Irvin. Blessed with sure hands and blazing speed, he set UM career receiving records for receptions, yardage, and touchdowns. The effervescent Irvin was complemented by senior wideout Brian Blades, brother of Benny. The Blades pedigree was evident for all to see. Brian ended his career as the school's number 5 all-time receiver. In 1987, Miami developed a devastating mid-range passing game, and fullback Melvin Bratton played a big part. The versatile senior punished defenders with his hard-charging style. 223 pounds of pure power. Look behind the statistics, and you will find the soul of the Miami scoring machine. From tackle to tackle, few offensive lines can match the Hurricanes. John O'Neill, Matt Patchen, Scott Proven, Rod Holder, and Mike Sullivan allowed just 13 sacks and helped Melvin Bratton become UM's all-time touchdown leader. They paved the way for a host of talented runners, including number 24, fleet-footed Warren Williams. The Canes' leading rusher averaged 5 yards per carry, augmenting his totals with 30 receptions. Williams graduates, but powerful Cleveland Gary returns for another go-round. He will attempt to duplicate a stellar '87 season that saw him score 9 touchdowns, second on the team behind Melvin Bratton. Next year, Gary's power will be complemented by a miniature bulldozer named Leonard Conley. As a freshman, number 28 set a single-season rushing record for first-year Miami ball carriers. He was the 4th dimension of an extremely deep running game that recorded 24 touchdowns while fumbling just 7 times. To be sure, the numbers are impressive, but quarterback Steve Walsh speaks for the entire team.
Well, my goal was to be 11-0. I didn't care what my stats were. I knew if we were 11-0, stats would take care of themselves.
A perfect season requires consistency in every phase of the game, and return specialist Randall Hill ensured that special teams would be a Hurricane strength. Only a freshman, the elusive Hill finished 7th in the nation in kickoff returns, guaranteeing excellent field position for his teammates. On those seemingly rare occasions when Miami failed to get 6, they countered with Greg Cox, the school's all-time leading scorer. Accurate from well beyond 50 yards, Cox was the ultimate weapon in an arsenal that dominated the collegiate ranks. 1 week after crushing Notre Dame, the Hurricanes capped a perfect regular season with a 20-16 thriller over highly regarded South Carolina. For Jimmy Johnson, it was a most satisfying moment.
When I look back on this football team, I will remember this team as one that didn't really stand out on paper as far as individuals. Without question, we have some star players, but more than anything else, it is a total team. They have total belief and confidence that they are going to be successful. They work very hard and they prepare themselves extremely well. That's the reason why they have won a lot of ball games.
January 1st, 1988. A national title is on the line tonight. The 54th Orange Bowl Classic matches two familiar foes. Jimmy Johnson's Miami Hurricanes, the undefeated Oklahoma Sooners, the pride of the Big Eight. Emotion, intensity, preparation. The Canes have come too far to turn back now. Operating behind a patchwork offensive line, Steve Walsh displays the uncanny poise that has become his trademark. On its first possession, the Miami passing game shreds the vaunted Sooner secondary. Melvin Bratton's 30-yard touchdown reception gives Miami an early advantage, and now the Sooners come calling. Playing without linebacker George Myra, the Canes figure to be weak up the middle, where the famed Oklahoma wishbone is poised to strike. However, the Sooners quickly discover that rhyme and reason is no match for good old-fashioned intensity. Miami's mission, break the bone. Fundamental football, offense, defense, and special teams. From 56 yards away, Greg Cox attempts to up the margin.
The Eagles will hold. Pigza will snap. Down and kick. It is up in the air. It is high. It is long. It is good! Oh my! 56 yards! Greg Cox kicked the field goal. And they're going to talk about this one for a while. That is as long as 10-7 Miami. 56-yard Greg Cox field goal.
The Orange Bowl record field goal gives Miami a lead they will never relinquish. Throughout the second half, Sooner ball carriers are hurled to the turf like so many rag dolls. An OU juggernaut that averages over 500 yards per game will not see half of that tonight. Bernard Clark records 14 tackles, typifying the Miami work ethic, execution, exultation. The third quarter sees Steve Walsh renew the aerial assault. Almost inexorably, the outmanned Sooners begin to wilt under the constant pressure. Late in the period, Miami moves in for the kill. When Walsh picks his receiver, everyone in America knows who it will be.
Walsh dropping, Walsh looking, Walsh firing it deep. Michael Irvin, he got it! Touchdown Miami! Michael Irvin in the corner of the end zone.
Trailing 20-7 late in the game, Oklahoma suffers the final indignity. Forced to abandon the wishbone, they attempt to employ a seldom-used passing game. Daniel Stubbs and his mates tee off with undisguised glee. And so, Miami Hurricanes are just seconds away from a smashing triumph, and the words of September ring with added poignancy. Press on, said the coach. Press on through a schedule that included 6 bowl teams. Press on to perfection, to vindication. Press on to victory. For Jimmy Johnson and his players, it simply does not get any better than this. A season that began with question marks has ended with exclamation points. Spread the word far and wide. The Miami Hurricanes are national champions of college football. A tradition of excellence has achieved its crowning glory.
I know that you've enjoyed the highlights of the 1987 National Championship year. We're very proud of the association that we've had with Sun Bank, and we'd like to thank Sun Bank for the sponsorship of this film.